Here's Joe Manchin, often described as the moderate senator from West Virginia.
I kept thinking, my wife Gail and I were watching this, and we said, can you imagine if I was still there, I'd be the only one standing on that side if I was still caucusing with the Democrats. And I said, where have we gone as a nation? Only in Washington you see this type of inhumanity, disrespect, no decorum whatsoever. This is not America. It's not who we are. And the extremes on both sides are wrong. Hatred is the name of the game. You know, they want to, their business model is to make you afraid, so fear and hatred. And that's not who we are as this country.
That's Joe Manchin with Chris Cuomo last night on News Nation. Over on Fox News, here's Greg Gutfeld's take.
You know how Democrats always say, it's good to be seen. You need to be seen. Are you being seen? Well, now you're being seen by all of America, and you're making them vomit because you believe trans men have more rights than real girls, or that open borders trump security and safety of a country, and that crime is only pursued if it benefits you politically. All this stuff is killing you.
You know, two of the big prime examples of media hatred, media darkness came from Nicole Wallace and Rachel Maddow over on MSNBC. You may remember when we played the clip where Nicole Wallace worries that young DJ, the little cancer patient who was made an honorary Secret Service member by President Trump, she worries he's going to kill himself. He's going to commit suicide. She said, I hope he doesn't grow up to be a cop and he has to commit suicide because of Trump supporters. Rachel Maddow called the beautiful moment of that little boy getting his wish disgusting. Well, President Trump reacted to this, and I'm not sure I completely agree with President Trump, but I want to find out if you do. Here's what he said about Nicole Wallace and Rachel Maddow and some of these ghouls over on MSNBC taking great moments and you know what all over them. Here's what the president said.
I thought it was very embarrassing for the Democrats what happened the other night. And that's not said for any other reason other than it's obvious, it's fact. Even CNN fake news said that. They came out and they said it. And worse than CNN is MSDNC, which is the worst. And the good news is very few people watch them anymore. They have lost such credibility. And frankly, what Nicole Wallace said, I've never been a fan of hers, and she's not very talented. But I'll tell you, what she said the other day about that young man is disgraceful. She should be forced to resign. And Rachel Maddow should be forced to resign. Nobody watches her anyway. I don't know if it's not possible they pay her as much money as I hear, but certainly she's lost all credibility, both of them. But what they said the other day, they should be forced to resign about that young person who is suffering greatly. Thank you, Nick.
Now, again, I rarely disagree with President Trump, and sometimes even when I've disagreed with him, he turns out to be right. I like that baseball cap that says Trump was right about everything. On this one, though, I'm not a big fan of calling on somebody to resign from a broadcast position. I just kind of wish, and maybe I'm just being ridiculously naive, I wish these two women at MSNBC would apologize. Just say you're sorry. It was a low moment for them. It was ridiculous. The country loved seeing those moments of the young man being accepted into West Point, becoming a cadet at West Point, celebrating the return of the Russian prisoner along with his 95-year-old mother. And the Democrats wouldn't stand for any of that, most of the Democrats. And then these two cable news hosts finding little DJ's story disgusting and revolting, and you hope DJ doesn't commit suicide. The kid's a cancer patient. This little boy, his little body has fought back against cancer thanks to the medical treatments he's gotten for 6 years of his little 13-year-old life. And you're going to say something that foul, that wicked, that cruel? Why don't you apologize, Nicole Wallace? Now, I get that people will say, well, she won't mean it. An apology would assume that she's got some level of awareness, but it would be the right thing to do. Look, if people like Rachel Maddow and Nicole Wallace, go watch them. I can't stomach more than 30 seconds of MSNBC. But if that's your thing, fine. There are plenty of people who don't like the Mike Gallagher show, and you wouldn't listen to it. Okay, or watch it. That's fine. It's a big country, a lot of big voices. We got people on the right, we got people on the left, we got people in the middle. We got people on the left who pretend to be on the right. I'm talking to you, Gavin Newsom. We got people on the right who pretend to be on the left. Forget it. Just whatever you want to do. But when you do something that bad, when you smear a little boy, when you're that vicious, Nicole Wallace, just say you're sorry. Say, I blew it. I got carried away. I was angry. I don't like Trump. Orange man bad. But I should never have said what I said on national television. So let's see if you agree with me or not. I just think an apology is what's more appropriate than asking them to resign. Am I wrong?
Mike Gallagher.
Lots of text messages about President Trump's comments regarding Nicole Wallace and Rachel Maddow, just dumping all over that beautiful moment from his speech the other night. T-Mac from Western North Carolina. Yes, Mike, you are wrong. They need to be fired. San Antonio. Mike, you're right. If they get rid of Rachel Maddow and Nicole Wallace, then Trump is contradicting himself when he said he proclaims freedom of speech. And finally, Mike from Connecticut. Mike, you're naive. You're being naive. Any apology that comes from those two idiots would be vapid. Personally, resignation is not nearly strong enough, in my opinion, but I'd take a resignation or firing rather than an apology any day. David's in Illinois. Hi, David. Thanks for joining us. How are you?
I'm fine. Good morning, and how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm going to get a lot of flack, I think, because I'm hoping that these two MSNBC folks would apologize for what they said. Where do you stand on it?
Well, I agree with you in the fact that they should apologize, but you will never get a sincere and honest apology from the left communists. Fire them.
I hear you. All right. Appreciate it, David. Let's see what others think. 800-655-Mike. Karen in Northbrook, Illinois. Hi, Karen. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Good.
I just want to say that normally I agree with you, but this time, I'm sorry. I think you're dead wrong. Even if those women apologize, it wouldn't come from their heart. They don't really mean it.
Yeah.
And as far as free speech goes, does a company really want those type of people representing them?
Well, that's the thing. I don't understand how any of their bosses would put up with that. I can't even imagine.
If I were their boss, they'd be gone.
Yep. No, I get that completely. I really do. And you know, you're right. They probably wouldn't mean it, but at least they do it. Sometimes apologies are a funny thing, especially in the world that we're in broadcast or media. You know, a lot of people say, oh, you're only apologizing because, you know, of the pushback. Look at what's happening right now with the way the Democrats are backtracking over their behavior from the speech. I mean, they're only backtracking and they're only, you know, trying to thump their chest and say, oh, it's not a good idea because it backfired. It backfired big time. And they didn't expect that. They thought they'd be the resistance. I want to tell you about the New York Times today. I stumbled across an article where the New York Times said that Trump critics are silencing and censoring and muzzling themselves because they fear retribution.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.